From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is an OU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with OU beat writer Ryan Aber. Ryan, the defense is back in the headlines, and it really is unexpected. We knew we'd be talking defense this week as this West Virginia game looms. Obviously, Will Greer Mountaineers put up some points, but we did not expect for the Sooners to be coming off such a poor performance against Kansas. 40 points they gave up to the Jayhawks. Lots of question marks. What, in your mind, is the biggest one heading to West Virginia?
Well, there's a lot of them, but to me the biggest one is Oklahoma's secondary handling West Virginia's great wide receiver group, including David Sills, who is a touchdown machine there. And that's something that Kansas really didn't exploit. They didn't try to throw the ball downfield because Buka Williams was running all over them, but that problem is still there. I think Parnell Motley's played better over the last few weeks as their defense has sort of imploded. He's been the one guy who really you haven't seen those bad plays happen against. But at the same time, as bad as things were on Saturday against Kansas, I think looking back the previous two games against Oklahoma State and Texas Tech, those things to me are much more concerning entering this game in Morgantown.
Yeah, it just seems like that it's not one thing again and again. Although maybe the one thing that you can point to is tackling, and Lincoln Riley did the other day.
Yeah, although I thought they had been better tackling in those couple games where they performed poorly overall. The Oklahoma State and Texas Tech game, I thought there hadn't been as many breakdowns in tackling as there was, say, in the Texas game, obviously, against Baylor and Iowa State early in the season when they had some issues. But that tackling problem came back at full roar on Saturday against Kansas. A lot of missed tackles. Lincoln Riley wouldn't give us the exact number, but said it was really high, said the yards after contact was far higher than anything that they'd seen this season. So that is a concern, because if you combine those two problems together, a team that can stretch you downfield and not being able to tackle them, you've got a recipe for what happened in 2014 in Morgantown. You've got a recipe for what happened in Lubbock, both earlier this year and 2 years before that. And that's never a comfortable feeling, especially for Ruffin McNeil, for Lincoln Riley.
You know, obviously there are things systematically, X's and O's wise, that they're going to be looking at, but after these last few weeks, I wonder about the psyche of this defense and where they are getting, really beat in different ways and seeing those big numbers go up. You know, Ryan, we were talking about, holding Kansas into single digits, and then Kansas puts up 40. That was our talk last week, and I'm sure the Sooners had to be thinking along similar lines. So how do they address that mentality going to West Virginia?
Well, I think it's just focusing on the positives that they can focus on, and the fact that they've still got a chance to win the Big 12 championship. They've still got a chance beyond that to make the college football playoff, although that window seems to be narrowing with the results elsewhere around the country. It's just for Lincoln Riley, it's just been about focusing on those things and trying to get this defense as good as it can be. And it's not going to be great. It's not even going to be good this year. But with the offense that they have, can it be good enough? And I think we've seen the answer is yes. It's just, can they do it on Friday night against West Virginia?
It just assaults your sensibilities of what defense should look like.
Yes,
so,
yes, it does.
And if one more thing were to come to play, it's a short week for the Sooners. It's a Friday night game.
So, mentioning that, injuries become much more of an issue because there's 24 hours taken off of recovery time. So Neville Gallimore missed last week. He's been about their only defensive lineman who's gotten consistent pressure on the quarterbacks. They had Khalil Haughton's missed the last couple weeks, and Justin Broyles got banged out, knocked out last week. He might be out. So as bad as this defense has been, with those injuries, it can get worse. I know you fans are probably clutching their chests at that, but it certainly can.
All right, well, we'll see what kind of numbers get put up Friday night, 7 o'clock in Morgantown. It's an ESPN game. Hold on to your hats, everybody. Should be interesting. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.